Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Yevamot page 117, which discusses that when it comes to the relationship that a mother-in-law has to her daughter-in-law, the Talmud said back then this was a very difficult relationship, and in fact the mother-in-law hated the daughter-in-law. And the reason for this, the Talmud says, is because she felt that as the daughter-in-law is now in the picture, she's consuming a lot of the family assets and taking away from something which potentially could be coming to her. On this, because of that, they're not able to testify and say that your husband died, even though normally we would believe such testimony. But when it comes to someone that hates another so much, we're concerned that they may actually have intentions to cause problems and to lie and to cause a lot of hardship in that relationship. And because of this, the Talmud says that not only is a mother-in-law not allowed to testify, but also a daughter-in-law is not allowed to testify against the mother-in-law. So on this, the Talmud wonders, it doesn't make sense. I understand the mother-in-law hates the daughter-in-law, but why does the daughter-in-law hate the mother-in-law? And the Talmud gives two answers. I'd like to share with you one, based on a very famous verse in Proverbs. The verse says, Kamayim haponim leponim, kain lev ha'adam l'adam. If you want to know the heart of a person, just like looking at a pond, at a reflection, or at a mirror, whatever you look at, whatever you see, that reflection comes directly back at you. So too when it comes to relationships. The verse in Mishlei is telling us something profound. If you are kind and loving and nice to a person, if you project that toward another human being, just like a mirror or reflection, that will come back at you as well. If you create positive energy toward another human being, that other person is going to be much more likely to show kindness and love back at you. And therefore, because of this, the Talmud says that if you have a situation where one party hates the other, where the mother-in-law hates the daughter-in-law, it will stand to reason that the daughter-in-law will end up hating the mother-in-law as well. The way that you treat another human being is more likely going to be the way that they will treat you. And therefore, one important message that we find here is how we deal with others and to be able to have strong positive relationships and doing it almost selfishly. Because if we are mean and nasty, then people are going to be mean and nasty toward us. But if we're kind and friendly to others, people are going to be more comfortable and want to be able to be more friendly and kind toward me. Now the Talmud actually gives another interpretation and says that this verse about the reflection of faces on water is actually referring to Torah study. And Rashi explains that if you have a teacher who smiles, who's friendly, who's cheerful, that individual, if they create a face which is very warm and comforting, there's a great likelihood that that student is going to be more receptive to want to learn. But if you're someone that has a sour face and you're always yelling and you're angry, so how do you think the students are going to react to that? Are they going to want to learn from you? Are they going to want to learn the things that you have to say? Probably not. And therefore, as a second important message, that when it comes to studying and teaching, just like in all relationships, we have to be so careful of not just what we say, but how we say it and how we present ourselves in a cheerful manner, because by doing so, people will do the same to us.